Okay, how's everybody doing? This will be my first Let's Play. This game is called The Beginner's Guide, and it's a story about a man who designed games, and he never seemed to finish any of them, and he just jumped into a new game. And there's a lot of narration in this game by some other guys, so it's gonna be hard to speak over him, but we're gonna do this, and hopefully he don't overtalk me the whole time. He's going to give you the rundown of the story. I'm just going to let him talk so you guys can get his point of view on the story.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made.
Okay, here we
It's
go.
a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
See, in the beginning, he does do a lot of talking, which lets you guys see the story. Bright ass room here. Oh, it's going down now.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda. You can click to fire the gun.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
So far, it's
It
confusing.
kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized.
So I think this game is built to give you just like different perspectives on life and
I love how you can see the bottom of
random
the
things.
universe
That's
from this
a
room.
beautiful view, though.
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on
Oh,
it.
that's what I was thinking.
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Okay.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering a whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our
Alright.
lives, would you do it? Could you
Yeah,
give
I'm gonna
yourself-
jump. And I'm
Let me
dead.
pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is
Alright.
what happens instead.
Okay, we get the repeat. Uh-oh. Ah, nice. Oh, he
The beam
definitely is pretty
causes
good
you
with
to
the
start
space. I
floating.
like how the space looks.
And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions.
Okay, so here we go.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
See what we're working with. Alright. Oh.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Oh, shit.
So it's a short and
Future
relatively
can never be
minimalist
seen.
experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more
Does the
focused,
future
more
keep changing?
complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a
When
pre-existing
she
trope.
steps and looks, it becomes clear. Okay, there's a door up there. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength? Where'd the door go? To confront it.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Another one. Freaking darkness. You are now entering.
And that's it. Okay,
Oh,
the
what the
meaning
hell?
of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
It's a very weird video game concept right now.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
It definitely messes with your mind.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Oh god, not the never-ending stare. I'm still walking full speed and it's not going.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens.
Weird.
So why, If Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Ah, cool. Very thankful of this guy to speed us up. Okay, you got an empty room with quotes on it. No. Stand on an X, staring at a bear for 3 hours.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
A game of only posters and concept art showing what the game is intended to be.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant.
These are like his
He said that he
games
knew that
wants
he
to
was
make.
actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it
Gaming
takes
like
time to
games.
really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Game of only motivation of quotes. Play one. Ah, shit. So far, it's very weird because he don't tell you anything. You literally have no idea what's going on. It's just a very, very confusing game. But I'm curious. That's the thing about it that's getting me. It's just you wanna figure out what happens next.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
You got the smoke. Probably. Yep, pull a quick one. Nope, still not open. Ah, there we go.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again
Beautiful.
soon. We're going to see it a lot. So that seems to be it, right?
Empty room again.
You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Oh shit, a maze? Just random extra things he's built into this game.
How
that
about that? There was
don't
more
link
to
up.
it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Alright. So guys, what we're gonna do is I am gonna go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys for watching this video, and part 2 will be coming soon. I am gonna make sure I do enough of these. I'll probably do 2 or 3 recordings a night just to make sure I have enough for the next day. And I will be beating this game. I'm gonna play the full game and make sure that I give you guys enough content here. So this was chapter 1 of the beginner's guide. Like, subscribe if you like the content, and I will be back.